Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto got a new training trip partner that changed everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this all with your friends on your social media platform. And also stay in tune for the new episodes over on Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, I have two more channel guys if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice. So go to the link in the description and check that out and enjoy guys. And remember to click those red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And join Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto was facing off against Killer Bee and Yagura, as the battle was going hard, but Yagura was acting rather strange, as the man wasn't fighting like a Kage at all. He seemed like someone who was unsure of himself, and cowardly as well. But Naruto used that to his advantage as the battle was raging on. Gaara was facing off against Utakata. As the both of them started to transform, Naruto made his way over as Utakata. Tail Beast was a lot more powerful, as Naruto had a Fuin Jutsu that could suppress the Tail Beast, but it would cause a lot of his chakra. As Gaara managed to buy time as Naruto suppressed Utakata Tail Beast, as he came back with Gaara. So with that, the both of them started a fight. It was now 2-on-2, Naruto and Gaara versus Killer Bee and Yagura. Yagura went crazy as he started to release the three tails. The thing emerged as Naruto started to clash against it as the fox. Naruto tapped into some of the fox power, strange abilities that he never saw before, as Naruto literally pulled a meteor and slammed down into the ground, as he rose up a large mountain that slammed into Yagura in the three-tail form and knocking him out. Yagura came out of it as the man seemed clear. His mind was now fully cleared, as the last bit of kenjutsu was broken from him that he was placed under, but he still couldn't allow the rebels to win, as they would want to take over the entire faction, and he couldn't allow that. As both him and Naruto clashed, Killer Bee getting out of it, the both of them clashed against each other hard, but the man was showing his worth as a Kage. As his mind was now clear, he was faster, he was stronger, and Naruto has wasted half of his chakra suppressing Utakata Tail Beast. As Yagura knocked down Naruto, he was about to kill him, but Taiwa jumped in the way and took the attack, as he stabbed right through her. Naruto lost it as he went into his mind, as the fox told him he could help him, but it would slowly change him from now on, the more he used his power. But Naruto did not care for her. For her, he would do anything because before she died, she told him that she loved him, finally telling him her real feelings. As Naruto went psychotic on Yagura, as two silhouettes appear in Naruto's mind. Those were his parents, as they were using the last bit of their chakra to stop this from happening. But a third voice told him that it was already done. As Naruto started to clash against Yagura as he defeated the man brutally, he sliced his arms off and his legs, and tear his head off as well. As time passed, Naruto had placed a preservation seal on Taiwa's body. As they were able to take the three tails, they were able to trap it long enough in Yagura's body so they could transfer it. As they placed it inside Taiwa, as Naruto saw nothing was happening at first, but then the wound started to heal, as he removed the preservation seal, and in a quick miracle, she was able to come back, being the three-tailed host, as she was now a Jinchuriki, as Naruto told her how he felt. Meanwhile that was going on, Kiri was getting rebuilt, as everyone was putting in the work to fix the damage that went on. It wasn't so bad though, as Gaara and Mei were talking about the alliance between their countries. Given her past, most people didn't want to get too close to her, but Gaara was different, as she asked him if he had anyone in his life. He told her no, and he'd be glad to accompany her to the festival that was going on. It seems like a new relationship was starting, So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Jiraiya was silent as he currently secluded himself. Even with the festival going on all around him, he was useless. In the time when Naruto needed him the most, Taiwa had been the one to move forward. But it shouldn't have been her. He had been frozen. He didn't make a move to attack Yagura from behind. He didn't summon any toads. He didn't enter siege mode. He had done nothing. He felt utterly worthless. No matter how much people didn't want him to forget that he was the one that saved Taiwa alive with the full jutsu by getting everything correct. But the scene in front of him had terrified him. It was like the same scenario with the Nine Tails. In fact, it could have been one in the same. Two of his students dying to eliminate a threat that opposed them. Both Naruto, the spitting image of his father, and Taiwa, who could pass for a young Kushina. The flashback they gave him when he was around them, when they were cursing about something or when they were laughing about normal things, it gave him a pain in his chest always, as he always saw little Minato and Kushina. As he wished he could just go back to the better days, the old days. Days when he had act when Tsunade and Orochimaru was in danger. Days when he had talk and laugh and enjoyed time with his students, Shizune included. Despite not liking her uncle, he had no ill will against the girl herself. While Minato had been his, favorite student, he never let it show, as he always thought the girls Kushina and Shizune the same as well. But perhaps if he had truly equalized his time with them, then two of the three would have still been walking, and Naruto would have still had his parents. Whenever his loved ones' life were on the line, it was like he couldn't do anything. That is why most of the time he maintained a distance from Konoha. If they were gonna die, whether he was there or not, it seems that there was no point. That was a painful lesson he had to learn in the Second Shinobi War, when his parents had died. And he had to live with it, because he had died right beside him, and he could not prevent it. His mother had shielded him, her last act to protect Jiraiya. That is when he used his most powerful fire-style jutsu. It had eliminated half a mile of the terrain, burned countless enemies. There was a knock at his door that snapped him from his thoughts. "Come in, it's unlocked," he said. "Geez, Sir Senin, I thought you would be really happy with all the booze that you have around here." "Lighten up," said Naruto as he entered the room. "How can you say that? You almost..." Yeah, said Naruto, cutting him off. "Geez, you sleazy pervert. It happened. I decided to move on and get stronger so it will never happen again. Taiwa-chan has as well. So, if you want to stay here and mope. But if you want to move on and make sure something like this doesn't happen again, get off your lazy ass and let's go have some fun," said Naruto. Despite his words sounding carefree, it really hit Jiraiya hard. He was right. There was no point of worrying about the past and how badly things could have gone. His job was to teach Naruto everything that he knew, so that he'll be ready to defend himself against the Akatsuki once they came. After all, Yagura might have been a monstrosity, but the Akatsuki was composed of all S-rank ninjas. Itachi, Kisame, Orochimaru was once a part of the group, and there was countless others which he did not know. Not to mention what was going on in the Hidden Rain. He shook away those thoughts. That was for another time. A life of a ninja can't just be endless training as well. You have to have some time where you can enjoy life, otherwise, you will drive yourself mad. Time skip. The festival had come and gone. Today was October 10th, Naruto's birthday. A perfect time to say goodbye and end the celebration on a high note. It was finally time to return to Uzu, but no one would ever say that they overstayed their welcome, as everyone came out to greet him a goodbye, and there was a lot of ninja scrolls given to Taiwa and Naruto to learn, to thank them for everything. "We're gonna miss you, kid," said Zabuza. "Come back and visit sometime, yeah? Remember, you did promise me a kenjutsu match, so you're not allowed to die until I beat you into the ground." "You either," he says. He looked towards Taiwa. "You gotta keep this dumbass in line and make sure he don't do anything stupid." "Zabuza-sama, are you getting sentimental? This isn't like you, Haku tease." "Haku, shut up," said Zabuza. 10,000 apologies, Zabuza-sama. Truly, my sorrow does not know any bounds." As everyone knew that Haku would do it again, and he would just start all over with his 10,000 apologies. As Jiraiya had summoned Kumatatsu earlier, and given him a scroll to place at Uzu, and he drew the replica of the seal where they were. So they were just waiting, as Gaara and his siblings were standing next to the Kira Shinobis. Gaara had a smile on his face as he was a bit close to me, as Naruto noticed that she was smiling as well, and each of them had been looking at each other differently. It didn't take him that long to work out what was going on. Killer Bee then spoke. We're heading back to Kumo. Miss 3, Mr. 9, come and see us sometime. B, shut the hell up. That's mean, Yuchi-chan. Don't be dissing on my rapping plan, said B. If you don't shut up right now, I'll tell your brother about the time that you tried to... Okay, he said. Anyway, he's right. You too. I'm pretty upset I didn't get to take you out for a test drive. When one of us or more is in the era, it's pretty easy that we want to see which one of us is stronger, she said. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need a lot of help learn to do this. Our bond transcends nations, said Utsukata, as he had a new pipe blowing bubble. We are all connected like brother and sisters, and while we may fight, as Yugito finished, we're still family. So whenever you're done doing what you're doing, come pay us a visit. I'll be looking forward to it, she said. See you all later, said Naruto. I don't know when we're going to be back, but... As the seal started to glow, and they were gone, Naruto steadied himself, as his head was spinning, being teleported like that. Naruto-san, Taiwa-san, Erasenin. My reputation is ruined, said Jiraiya, as Naruto scooped up the twins. You too, I've gotten bigger, said Naruto. Yeah, now we look like we can be 10 years old, Rei said, as Naruto hoisted the both of them on his shoulders. Well, you sure feel like it, said Naruto, as they started to laugh. The headband looked good on you, said Abura. She came forward as she cuffed her grandson's face with a smile. You've grown into a strong man, she said. Thanks, Oba-chan, said Naruto. So, tell me, how did it go? What did you do? I want to know everything. Should I be expecting great-grandchildren soon, she asked. No! Both Naruto and Taiwa yelled at once, as Abura and Jiraiya started to laugh. Don't worry, we'll tell you everything, but you may not like it. She steeled herself, knowing that if the optimist that was Naruto was telling her that she might not like it, it must be bad. So she got herself ready to take whatever news he was going to give her. And she didn't like it one bit. As she saw the seal on Taiwa's stomach. She was a Uzumaki. She was refined in the art, but Jiraiya was better than her. As she saw the seal was perfectly crafted. Her granddaughter-in-law had died for a moment there, but she was brought back to life. She died saving Naruto's life though. The feelings that they had for one another had nearly cost them their life. And then we came back, said Naruto. The woman moved over as she hugged the both of them tight, as to find out that she nearly lost him. After all, she never even knew that she had a grandson in the beginning. But to find out that she had one, and know she nearly lost him, she was just so happy that he was back. As she looked at Taiwa, as she gave her a warm smile, Taiwa simply smiled back, as Aburo knew how much she loved her grandson. As she then turned towards Naruto, well, everything can be put aside for the moment. Yeah, the two twins said. Happy birthday, Naruto, all of them shouted. Time skip. 3 months come and gone, as they have been training for the past 3 months. It has been a year now since they left Konoha. They still had more time for their training trip. I think we should go, said Naruto, speaking about the offer to go to Kumo. Nobody's better to teach a Jinchuriki than another Jinchuriki, he said. And I think we should stay, said Jiraiya. Kumo is the most aggressive nature in existence. They tried to kidnap your mother. They instigated the third Great Shinobi War, and they almost started another one when they tried to kidnap the Hyuga clan heiress. Grass is green and water is wet. Just like that, Kumo is not a nation to be trusted, said Jiraiya. As Naruto looked at him, he was too stubborn to listen to Jiraiya right now, as he refused to believe one person's thoughts on the matter. After all, Jiraiya was not the most reliable person when it comes to certain things. As you remember when they were looking for Tsunade, he said that he was about to gather information, and he had took his wallet, and when he found him, he had 2 women on his lap, with a bottle of steak in his hand. Well, I'm going anyway, said Naruto. You can stay here and train the twins with Aburo-chan. Oh, so I'm chopped liver now, said Taiwa, as she glared at him a bit. No, of course not, said Naruto. I just kind of assumed that you'd be coming with me. Was I wrong? Well, no, she said. Wherever he went, she was gonna follow. It was the same for reverse as well. I can't just have you go AWOL, Naruto. Do you know the kind of disaster will happen if Tsunade ever find out? I'm already pushing the limit. Yes, I pushed it a lot before we left last year. Doing this, she would have my head piked on her wall. And I can't let anything happen to you. The only way I can do that is by keeping you here, where the enemy ninjas wouldn't come to try to attack you until you're ready. You know, I really understand the need to be strong, but I can't advance that much if you and Oboro-chan are the only one that is teaching me. And not to mention, there's not that much that you can do to teach me how to control the Kyuubi's chakra and Taiwa and the standby. Yugito and Killer Bee, they can. Kumo is famous for their kenjutsu abilities as well, so I bet I can improve mine. There, said Naruto. Naruto, please just... Naruto interrupted Jiraiya. No. There's a line between protecting me, training in peace to keep me here, but there's also a big world out there that I haven't come to fully understand or know yet. Experience. You can't just keep me here without me not knowing anything that operates outside of Konoha walls. Sometimes you have to protect people and sometimes you have to let them know or make their own decision if they're strong enough to protect themselves. And I killed a Kage, goddammit. I think that's speaking enough about my abilities that I can protect myself, said Naruto. He had a point, even though that kill happened under certain circumstances that he wished to never repeat ever again. I'm gonna go on my own training trip, and it's gonna be 1,000,000 times better than this one. A training trip extravaganza with blackjack and strippers. You really need to think about that last sentence. Said Taiwa. Hey, I never said that you were for me. You too, pay attention to me, said Jiraiya, as he was still talking, trying to convince him not to. I think they should go, Oboro said, walking towards them. It was late at night. The twins were fast asleep, and she heard them from a distance away. No one has a balanced view of the world by remaining in one place for most of their life. You owe it to them to not put a limit on the things they can learn. Besides, if all 6 of us go, there's less risk. Safety in numbers, after all. And the twins? You saw what they did the day they came out of the labyrinth. They could easily match any Chunin and many Jonins. They're young, but their age has nothing to do with their talent. They were raised in an active war zone, where they were required to kill at any point in their life. They will be able to defend themselves, and also will be there. Jiraiya had to admit that was true. You know what? Fine. But the moment things start to go south, I don't want any of you to come to me and say I was right. Just make that word stick in your head, that I, Jiraiya, was right. Only dream of it, Erosenin, said Naruto. After all, we don't call you Jiraiya. As Jiraiya's eyebrows started to twitch violently. As Naruto simply laughed, and that made Oboro laugh, and Taiwa laugh as well. Time skip. Flashback to 3 months ago. You did what? The Raikage asked. I told him that he could come anytime to listen to Killer Bee's rhyme, said B. So, you extended an open invitation to a foreign village in Julki to come to Kumo, the Raikage said. He was currently in his office with Yugito and Killer Bee. This was right after they left Kiri and made their way back to Kumo. Bro, you sound mad. That made me sad. But even so, it will be a while before they show. A couple months, maybe no. I don't know. They actually wouldn't have to come inside of Kumo until you're satisfied that they're not a threat. Killer Bee has an Onrikyo Valley, remember? Said Yugito. No. I would rather they just remain under loose, unvoted civilians. You said that Jiraiya was with them. Yes, said Yugito. While we were there, he told us about the organization hunting Jinjulki, the Akatsuki. That name sounded familiar for some reason, but A couldn't figure it out why. On the other hand, Killer Bee and Yugito presence, after the war ended, allowed Kumo to start a new alliance with Kiri. The new Mizukage was quite generous, despite them fighting for the opposite side. A, appreciate that. Back to the present time. How long will it take to get to Kumo? 2 days, less than 1. If we really push ourselves. Or if you're ready, asked Jiraiya. Yeah, let's go. Alright then, let's move out, said Jiraiya. And with that, the group left Uso as they made their way through Hainokuni as they moved west. A boat trip And then another long run, and they finally arrive at Kumo. There they were greeted by Yugito and Killer Bee themselves. After, their arrival near the village had been noticed. "Nice to see you show up," said Yugito. "My bro, we want to speak to ya." "Swear to God, he's like our mother." "Time to get moving though. 9 and 3. Come to watch a show." "He means he wants to take you around the village, but that will have to wait until we talk to Asama," said Yugito, explaining what Killer Bee just said. Time skip. "There's more of you than I've been told," Ace said as he looked towards Killer Bee for explanation. "There were only 3 of them in Kiri. My eyes doesn't deceive me," said B. "Does he always do that?" "Yes," 5 voices said, answering Oberon's question. "Regardless, I was told about your expecting arrival several months prior. Congratulations for your work in Kiri, despite Yugito and my brother being on opposite side. But I can appreciate talent where talent is, even though we're not strictly allies. Kumo and Konoha has always been uneasy with each other, a fact that A has been trying to change. Since the 3rd Raikage's death, he worked to try to bring less aggressive approach to the other great nations. He hadn't always succeeded, but he blamed that on the 4th Kazekage, unwillingly, to trust anyone that was not born in the sun, and apparently, the 4th Mizukage mind was also controlled. He was always alert, despite not living in dangerous times once again, because the place had cooled down since the past. But it would be foolish not to make a strong bond with Konoha. While he did not really enjoy the risk of having 2 Jinjurikis inside his village, it would reflect bad on Kumo to refute a prominent figure like Jiraiya. Moreover, this was a chance to show the Konoha ninjas that he did things differently than his predecessors. Thanks. No, I mean it. I respect anyone to push your limits to the cause that they believe in, whether or not they find victory. True strength comes from passion and the will to follow through," said A. "Be that as it may, Asama, they will need a room. Multiple rooms. 2, 3. 3, said Jiraiya. "Do you have a particular place in mind? You've been here several times, Jiraiya Dono. I'm sure that you have an idea on which establishment you prefer." Truth be told, Jiraiya rather sleep on a rock. As, despite everything, the reason why Jiraiya was so hesitant and didn't really like Kumo that much, despite those ninjas being long dead by now. It was Kumo ninjas who killed his parents. Yes. I can't say that I do. It's been nearly 5 years, so my memory's a bit rusty. Is there anywhere that you guys might recommend? No, unfortunately. In the same way like you would be unable to offer assistance in finding a place in Konoha, I can't say. But, however, if you do find one, simply name it, and I will pay for your stay. Of course, depending on the length of your stay, you could stay inside of the room in the Raikage manner. It is far too large a house for just I and Killer Bee. Well, I don't know how long we will be here, but that sounds like the best option, said Jiraiya. And just like that, it was decided. Time skip. Hey, Mr. 9, Miss 3. Say hello to Team Killer Bee, said B as he had led Tayuya, Naruto and the twins to Onrikyo Valley. 5-man squad, Naruto question, with 2 men and 2 women standing beside their teacher. That's a bit unusual. Won't sensors pick you up really easy? Especially that you're a Jinjulki, said Naruto. We're all Chunins, but Samui is a Jonin like Killer Bee Sensei. Technically, we forego on missions, but when the actions look a bit hot, Killer Bee Sensei come with us. The blonde, pale skin, Kumo ninja said, pointing towards his sister Samui. Time for introduction, said Taiwa. Well, I'm Momoy. This is my sister Karu. Samui is our squad leader when Killer Bee Sensei isn't here with us. And that's her brother, Atsui. Alright, I guess. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. And these are my younger twin siblings, Rei and Kuga. Referring to them as anything else would cause too many problems to arise, and they already refer to Naruto as their older brother, so it wouldn't be an issue. Oh, and this, I'm Taiwa. I'm Peace for Brain's here girlfriend. As Naruto said, he was just about to introduce her. Oh, because of his hair, said Karu. Naruto, I don't know if I've ever said anything bad about Kumo before, but I take back everything that I ever said. Can we move here, said Taiwa. As Naruto eyebrow and twitch, she's just saying that because she enjoy when people also agree with her nickname for him, Peace for Brains. Karu. And Atsui laughed. Anyway, so you're all Killer Bee students in Naruto? Yes, but we veer on different emotions. Like most of us are quiet and calm, while some of us are just aggressive and loud. As he looked towards his sister, Amoy, I swear to God, if you say another word about me, I'll beat you to a pulp. He looked at her, seeming to be unfazed by her threat. See what I mean? Before she could pummel her brother, Killer Bee spoke. Hey, I just had a thought. Bonds are grown stronger when ninjas fought. Why don't we break away and start some spar today? That doesn't really sound like a good idea. These three all specialize in high, destructive ninjutsu. As I saw Naruto create a mountain in Kiri, and the twins can cut through lightning with water techniques, said Tayuya. Well, I'm more than willing to go into a kenjutsu match. The twins could use some practice as well. It gets old fighting the same people day after day, said Naruto. Abaru-chan is good, but she's not a master in kenjutsu. Hell, I could probably stand to learn her to use a regular katana or a tanto with my fox, said Naruto. No, that would probably be a disaster. Study one sword art and become a master. Otherwise, your muscle memory would toss and squeeze. Strangely enough, Naruto started to understand Killer Bee better. Alright, Taiwa, you might want to pick something up maybe. It's your choice, said Naruto. As she thought about it, she might as well improve the other arts. She was good in kenjutsu, but having backup was always good. Alright, you still have that old sword that your Jiji used. Abaru had given the katana that her husband used. Naruto still uses fox, but he did not turn down the offer. After all, she gave him this blade, and it was tied to the Uzumaki clan. But seeing that he wasn't using it at the moment, he could allow Taiwa to use it, and it's not like she's going anywhere. Yes, and Naruto as he unsealed it. The Hall of the Mountain King, a gift given to the first Uzukage by the first Tishikage in honor of their alliance after the war period ended. And then just 40 years later, they attack Uzu with the joint alliance of Kumo and Kiri, and Danzo's surprise attack as well. As Naruto was still willing to see that man dead by his hands. Alright mister, you're coming to me. The rest of you spar, but not too hard. As Taiwa left with Killer Bee, ready to learn. You hear that you two, said Naruto as he turned towards Rei and Kuga. Don't go easy, but you're not allowed to kill. Wait, you mean two of us are gonna be fighting kids, Amoy said. Clearly, not liking that. Don't worry about them, said Naruto with a grin. Don't you know the first rule of shinobi conduct? Never, ever underestimate your enemy. Especially not those kids. They're a little too smart and strong for their own good. That is why they're here with us and not back at the academy. And coat your blade to chakra so you can't cut. Out of curiosity, Naruto-san, how do you know Killer Bee Sensei? Asked Samui. Oh, during the rebellion at Kiri, I fought him and the Mizukage at the same time, mostly in kenjutsu. I thought we were a pretty even match, even though it looked like he wasn't even using half of his blades. I got him up to 3 though. Probably would have got him farther if the standby hadn't released and messed up the entire battle. I beat it back into submission, but Killer Bee got blown away by one of my attacks, and he didn't show up until the standby was already dead, said Naruto. Wait, you were on par with Killer Bee Sensei, using his Santorian style, and you fought a cage as well, and you took down a Biju. Well, I guess it seems a lot more impressive when you put it like that. I just treat it like any other battle though. No, Naruto-san, that is very cool. It takes most kenjutsu users several years to make Killer Bee Sensei use 3 or more blades. And it will probably take a team effort for him to bring out all 8. But you got him to do it on your own. And you fought a tail beast and won. A being that can level entire mountains. On top of that, you killed the Mizukage, someone that is ranked as Chunin killed the Mizukage, the strongest ninja in Kiri. Do you see where I'm going with this, Naruto-san? Or do you need me to continue, she said. No, I get your point. I'm the same way as Killer Bee though, said Naruto. My fox has 2 sizes, depending on whether it has chakra in it or not. This is a regular size, said Naruto. As he held out the blade for all of them to see, he then channeled the Kyuubi chakra. The thing grew large, as most people would have to hold it with 2 hands, but yet he held it with 1 hand. This is its attuned size, better for power and long range strikes. And seeing the fact that it's attuned to my chakra, it's also light and movable, he said. So, of the 4 of you, who wants to take on the twins? And who want to take a shot at me? As he resealed his faults. Amoy, Karu, you will have a match against the children. Atsui, sit back and cool off. I'll go a few rounds against Naruto-san, said Samui. As Amoy really want to see what these kids are made of. If someone who defeated the Mizukage talk of them so highly. As they all got ready, coating their blades with chakra, so they wouldn't end up slicing anyone. As they made it a dull edge. As the matches began, to their surprise, the twins were moving in perfect synchrony. Amoy and Karu has worked together a lot, but the twins were outmatching them. With their weapons combined, they were hard to go against. As Amoy couldn't believe it, as he had to push himself against these kids. As they clash, the twins moving in perfect synchrony and switching opponents on the fly. As Amoy was put on the defensive, as he had to keep on blocking, parrying, and try to stop Ray slashes. Kuga was far faster than anyone his age, as he managed to deflect every single blow from Karu. And when he did not dodge, he blocked it with his gauntlets, his Uzumaki weapons, as he shielded himself. As she increased her speed, but his speed was just getting faster and keeping up with her. As the Kumo ninjas swing their blade as the two twins leap, they land on the blade stuck into it with chakra. As Ray, the tip of her spear was at Amoy's throat, and Kuga gauntlet right in Karu's face. We win, said Kuga as he jumped back with a smile. That was fun. See what I mean, said Naruto. Yeah, I guess age has nothing to do with it at all, said Amoy. As he realized, these kids are something else. Alright, Samui, I guess it's our turn, said Naruto. Meanwhile, they were far enough away that they couldn't hear the sparring Tayuya and Killer Bees sat across from each other in a shallow cave. The first rule of kenjutsu is to understand your weapon and the world, and your place in it, Killer Bee said. As Taiwa looked at him. You're not gonna rhyme? This is serious business, he said. I do that to mess with my brother. And over the years there's been a bit of a quirk. But now, let's get down to the main thing. Now, what's that you have in your hand? A sword. A katana. No, what you have in your hands is your life. When you learn kenjutsu, you learn the way of the sword. You just don't use a katana. If your blade breaks, you die. That sounded a bit over the top. She still had ninjutsu and genjutsu to use if her blade broke. Still, it seems as a teacher, Killer Bee hold a no-nonsense attitude that was expected of a Jonin sensei. Right now, you're thinking about how you have other techniques besides swordsmanships. You can't do that. Why not? A ninja can versatile in many areas, she said. Because if you're thinking that far, that means you already move on to plan B, C, or plan D. That means you think plan A is gonna fail. That means you're already failing already. Can't help it, you know my story. Orochimaru does not want to go into a place without many backup plans. And that is one good thing I learned from him. Then, I can't teach you kenjutsu. Rather, you won't be able to learn it. What? Why not, she said. Because you're not willing to commit fully to kenjutsu training. There's a boy in Konoha. I heard about him after he completed his first C-rank mission to Takinokune. He's a ninja. He has almost no chakra. He can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. Do you know what he did? He said ninja doesn't have to have chakra techniques. And with his taijutsu, he would manage to beat everyone. That boy was an inspiration. And it's because of him I teach the way I do. And if I were to teach you kenjutsu, you would need to make it your main focus. It will come smooth to you, like everyday occurrences, like breathing without actually even to try. Killer Bee reached up as he placed his hand over the scar that Naruto gave him, as he allowed it there to show that he had, well, underestimate a fellow Jinjuliki host. A reminder never to do it again. This is what happened when you stop respecting the blade and underestimating your foes. You see, all those kids, they learned from me before I started to think like this, and they have hell to pay for it. I've never forced them to go farther, but I encourage the damn fools every time. Your boy and those kids could probably eat my students for breakfast. Just one look and you could tell they're not like me, like you. Some ninjas are made, but others are born. 9 and those twins. The 3 of them are born killers. I saw it in their eyes. They will learn anything they can as much as they can, so that they master it. That sword of 9. It used to be popular before the samurais came in with kenjutsu. It cannot cut through layer armor well. But it's because of the demonic chakra that he channeled, which make it stronger. That sword represents him. It's brutal, precise, and not anything too flashy. It just went in for the end, and that's over. One slice and you're done. She couldn't argue with that. She's seen it in action when he trained. Tell me, which one am I? She asks. Me and you. We were made, he said. Something in you make you hold back. Something from your past that you do not want to know. 9 is the opposite. On the outside, he keep himself calm. But once he gets into a fight, he's... Killer Bee paused. As he remembered looking at her eyes when Tayuya had fallen down in his arms. It was a terrifying look. His face went from denial to acceptance, then horror. That scream that he made, it wasn't for revenge for Taiwa at the end. It was a cry that would have even wakened the dead gods from their sleep. Something that was just raw and vicious. Pure death. Killer Bee knew that he was far more advanced than Naruto in certain areas. But to a straight confrontation, there was just something about that boy that he feel like he would not be coming out unless he took on a full possession of the Haxabi. As he could tell that one day that boy would surpass all of the great names and be placed in history. Meanwhile, as Naruto had the tip of his fork at Samu's throat, with a smile on his face, I concede, she said. Naruto backed away as he lowered his blade. As Naruto had controlled the entire spar, despite her using chakra to extend her Kanto blade, it still didn't matter. It was a nice trick, unexpected, but he was ready for anything. Well, it's not like she thought that she was going to win, as Naruto's matchmate B used 3 blades, not to mention he was fighting with the Mizukage as well. But it was good to test herself like this to see how far she stacked up against him. You're good, said Naruto. Though, looking at the 3 of you, I mean, isn't your sensei like a kenjutsu master? Wouldn't think that you would be on his level, but still. Shouldn't you guys be more proficient? Killer Bee wanted to give them an all-rounded education, a voice said behind Naruto. Hello Yugito, said Naruto, as he backed up, keeping all of them in his sight. It was just a reflex thing. That was me, Naruto-kun. The twins were relatively even, but why would you do that to Samui-chan? It's cool, Yugito-sama. It was a teaching moment. No matter how strong I might get, I don't doubt that Naruto-san will always be stronger. That may or may not be true, but feel free to use me as a measuring stick until we find out for sure, said Naruto. Let me guess, Yugito, you feel left out because I fought everyone, except for you. Aw, you do care, she said with a smile. So, maybe you care enough to fight against me. That's a dangerous request, are you sure? What can I say, Naruto? I'm a jealous woman. Everyone else has had a turn with you and I want mine. Any rules, Naruto asks. No bijus, no weapons. Just ninjutsu and taijutsu, she said. Naruto shrugged, he could make that work. Rather when you are, the rest of you, clear the hell out of here. They scattered, leaving the 2 Jinjulkis at the valley. Go, said Yugito, as she felt air on her stomach, as her purple armor had been removed, leaving only her black bodysuit on. Huh? I figure it must be hot in that armor, given Old Valley is set. Don't worry, I'm stripping too. As he threw his black t-shirt to the side, as his arms were revealed. Holy crap. Doesn't the Kyuubi heal you, she said. Not completely. I think he'd like to leave reminders that should be faster next time. This is not even a majority of them. Hell, right here I did to myself as he pointed towards his arm. What he had to do to strike Jiraiya when he stabbed himself in his arm, to turn his arm. A victory is a victory. I will do whatever it takes to make that victory earned. Shed as much blood as possible, he said. After all, a battle needs a bit of bloodshed. You're a monster, she said. There was no callous behind her words. It wasn't an insult. Thank you, said Naruto. Promise not to hold anything against me, she said. Nope, said Naruto. As the both of them move as 2 clones poof into existence, Yugito flicked between them and strike out, dispelling the 2 of them instantly. Chakra had extended from her finger and toes, turning into chakra claws, as Naruto's nails got hard, strengthened by the power of the Kyuubi, as the watchers saw them moving as blur. All of the siblings looked at their partner, as they didn't look back to the battle in front of them. The fight was moving so quickly, but Yugito was old enough to fight in the 3rd Great Ninja War. She had fought. Her uncle, the 3rd Raikage, had insisted that she was trained practically from birth to be a warrior. While she never actually reached a man level, she felt the power of his words that compelled her to always go on. Naruto-kun, do you know why it's foolish to fight a cat? She asks. Why, said Naruto as he decided to humor her. Will you hear me open a can of tuna from a miles away? No, cats have 9 life. You only have 1, she said, as she swung a kick towards him. But he blocked it with a grin. As the both of them started to clash violently, their hands moving like blurs. Let's see how you handle this, said Naruto, as an army of clones poofed into existence and turned her, as she was in the center. This was rather dangerous, as he had got it down perfectly to transform his clones. Anything could be a clone. As she glanced around, the grass, even his kunais in his pouch. Think you can keep going if I speed up a bit more? I would hate to see you burn up on me, she said. As Naruto smirked. Be my guest, I was feeling a bit slow as well. As Naruto smiled, he was having a lot of fun. Time skip. I think I just heard one of them made a sonic boom, Samui said. Did anyone else hear that? How were they even doing that safely? Jeez, wouldn't their inner ears be obliterated, said Karu. They might be chocolate coated, or they might just leave it be since a port of their Jinjulike would keep them relatively healing quick, said Amoy. They're not trying to be safe. See those track lines on the earth? That's from their misses, or they couldn't redirect in time. Whoa, Big Brother Naruto is so cool, said Ray. As the both of them were still clashing violently, as Naruto was slightly stronger but she was slightly faster, and she was able to fight multiple opponents, seen from the amount of clones that she dispelled. Without warning though, chains grabbed her and brought her in mid-air and kept her frozen there. Hey, no fear. I was having fun, Naruto-kun, she said. So was I. Still, I think you prove your point, said Naruto. The while, look in his eyes vanish, as she realized. The chains vanished as she flipped and landed on her feet. Maybe. But don't think I'll let you leave without a fight, she said. A real fight. As she saw him smirk, and there it was, that fire in his eyes. She didn't know why, but it just drove her to fight stronger. It was a shame that he was an item with that red head, she thought to herself. Otherwise, she would be more than willing to make him her own. Yo, what's the big deal? The both of you, destroying my field, you fool, you fool. Killer Bee and Taiwa had returned, quickly followed by the 3 pairs of siblings. I am not apologizing, Yugito said. Besides, I just wanted to give my friend a greeting and get a taste of him since I was denied that in Kiri. The way she said her words, it bothered Tayuya. Well, nothing she said could be taken, well, as outright lewd, but the way she said it, and not to mention her tone. And Tayuya was a very jealous woman when it came to what's considered her territory, and Naruto fell under that category of her territory. She contained herself, since it would be petty to get in a fight over something like that. But she wouldn't let it slide like that though. Time skip. He said he wouldn't teach me. Taiwa says she was curled up on the bed with Naruto as they were sharing the bed in Kumo. And the way he talked, it bothers me. What did he say? Said Naruto, as her head was resting on his shoulder as he was leaning. One thing in particular, he said some shinobis are born killer and some are made. He said that we were made into this, the way we are, but you were born to kill. Is he wrong? Naruto said. Not about me. It just bothered me that he said that about you, she said. Well, he was telling the truth. You and I both know who my parents were. With that pedigree, it was easy to say that I was destined to become a ninja. There is something else though that Killer Bee couldn't know. But he was right when he told you that. Do you remember me telling you how I got most of my scars when I was attacked? She nodded as her fingers started to trace one of the lines in his chest. The attack did not start until I killed 30 civilians, he said. The words were dropped so easily, like it was something easy to talk about, like it was like he was talking about the weather. She looked at him right in the eye. You did what? She said. I killed 30 civilians. They had refused to give food to me, or Tenten, or clothes. 29 store owners, and an innocent who saw the last kill, said Naruto. Too many people saw that boy die. After that, everyone started to pin everything on me. There was no trial or psychological evaluation thanks to the third Hokage. But civilians don't always like to play by the rules. One night, they decided to take matters in their own hand and get revenge Tenten was gone by that point though. He still remembered that night, his back, burned by acid. It was like flames from the front, tearing away his flesh into him. That was when he chose to fight back, and the death toll went up to 35, as he started to slaughter. He didn't know why, but ever since then, it was just an instinct, a magic to kill him, as he had always loved the rush of a battle, but most of the time he held back. Well, he had 2 holes in his chest that healed over to show that she shouldn't hold back too much. And Taiwa temporary death showed him that he shouldn't be holding back too much, and he needed to get stronger and not show mercy to his enemy, because one slip, one move down the wrong path could cause him to suffer untold pain by losing his loved ones. "Are you angry at me?" said Naruto. "No, I'm not angry," she said. Shocked, depressed, that he went through so much, but it doesn't change the fact how she feel about him as she twisted her head and kissed him. "I'm glad," he said that smile. "Now, it's your turn. How were you made a kunoichi?" he asked. "I don't know, but it was difficult to remember. I don't remember my life much before Orochimaru took me. But I was taken, and I was a guinea pig for his first, earlier experiments." "Like what? You never said anything about them." "There's a reason for that, piece for brains. That thing is painful to remember. Orochimaru was kinder when I was on the table, compared to Kabuto when he cut me open." As Naruto filed that information in his head for a later date, as he's gonna make Kabuto's death as painful as possible if he got the chance. "Please, you never start to feel better if you don't talk about it. Hopefully, one day you can get past it, rather than run away from it," he said. "As far as I know, I was in the zone for 10 years. He might have taken me when I was 6 or maybe younger. He had a group of other prisoners, most of them older than me. The last one standing would get a reward. I wasn't old enough to fight seriously. I wasn't old enough for most things, but I knew what death meant. He gave us weapons, and I hid, and I killed the one that came out on top with surprise attacks. He told me what I want as a reward, and I told him I want to be stronger. I wanted to be stronger to return to my family. She was just a kid back then, she couldn't have known any better. He gave me my seal, but it wasn't the first one. There were 4 others, and we became the Sound 5. We went on several missions together and gained a reputation for completing them. And we got interested in his eyes. So he made us his elite guard, and Kimimaro was selected as his next host body. It had baffled Taiwa how much Kimimaro wanted to be Orochimaru's next host body. The devotion towards the man was beyond anything. The more she talked, Zabuza was right. The more she shared with him, the more it was bearable. "Maybe it's okay not to have kenjutsu training," said Naruto. "Hell, you can't even call what I do kenjutsu. He probably told you that, didn't he?" said Naruto. "Besides, we're here in the village with 2 Jinjulke, who are pretty capable of using their Biju. We can both learn something about that. Pick up some new light in jutsu as well. Who knows?" "Sounds like a good idea," she said. "Also," said Naruto, "I saw the way you look when Yugito was talking. Don't worry, you're the only one for me." The words brought comfort to her heart. Time skip. "So how is the training progressing?" asked Jiraiya, as he sat across from Naruto in the room that Taiwa shared with the blonde. It has been 2 months, despite him didn't want to leave Naruto. He realized that it was safe here, and given the Raikage earlier words, he wouldn't do anything to jeopardize any prospect of alliance with Konoha in the future. So he went away for 2 months and he just came back. He didn't went anywhere near Konoha, because it would look bad if Naruto wasn't with him. After all, Tsunade would find out, and she would ask where the 2 kids were. Yeah, and that would put him in a whole lot of crap. "It's going well," said Naruto, "but I'm stuck in a rut. And I think it's because of what happened in my seal." "Oh? Is it true that only half of it is sealed within me?" said Naruto. "Yes. The beast was too powerful and Minato had to split it. As he sealed the yang half into you. I have the seal left in place, the yang half within you. That you're old enough now and you have lived, and your chakra coils have developed with that chakra constantly dipping into your system. Are you sure? It will strain the seal very badly, and the Kyuubi power will be doubled," Jiraiya asks. But Naruto had already made up his mind. He was sure he was going to do this. After all, he needed it. It seems like you'll have to have another talk with the Kyuubi once again, and meet this other half. Or if it didn't just fuse within the original Kyubey. He's gonna find out very soon. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification so you posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.